The new Greyhawk 27U here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This thing, the first time I saw it, it immediately jumped out at me. I like the layout, I like the king bed in the back, and this thing has, let's see, we have a best-in-class 2+ 3 year warranty, plus all the Ford coverages, which extend up to 5 years. We have a best-in-class overhead cab rating. We have that seamless front cab, best-in-class J-Ride, ride, and handling package. You know, more seat belts, more tail lights, more safety. This thing is awesome. First, quick look at the rig in travel mode with our slides closed. Easy to navigate. I like that it's nice and wide open. The dual big windows help open this thing up. Note in the bedroom, with that bed slide and bathroom combination, you do need to fold up the foot of the bed in transit. So that is something you'll have to keep in mind. That's not terribly uncommon in bed slide motorhomes in this size kind of class and category. You start getting back above 30 feet like the 29MV Greyhawk, and you'll see that you know, bed become more travel available. But don't forget, you've also got that adult-rated overhead cab bed there. If you need to sleep 1 or 2 people in transit real quick up there, you could always do that. Another neat little thing on this floor plan, I like that, like, whether it's the master command center, which is kind of just above our heads right now on the side of the overhead cabinet above the sofa, or this thing. Like, all of our switches and stuff, they're just all in one spot. If you want to be able to use that auto leveling system, I love that our awning lights and stuff like that, our awning in and out switch, the battery disconnect, it's all right here, and you can reach it from ground level. You don't have to climb in and out of the coach to access anything. And as you have no doubt noticed, the Jayco farmhouse decor has found its way here into their motorized division. And I think this is a nice breath of fresh air, although I really have no issue whatsoever with the way Greyhawks look otherwise. And farmhouse decor that we're looking at is not the only interior available. Jayco understands that this just isn't everybody's jam, but they know that this is a very different thing that you just really can't get anywhere else, so it's cool that they offer it. So keep in mind, you can get the exact same RV with different wood tones and fabric patterns if you're looking for more of a traditional brown neutral kind of thing. I think this floor plan, it is not a replacement for the 29MV. I think it's a very cool offset to the 29MV, however. But they both do the main things very well, and then they do a couple things a little different. If I'm being honest, I personally lean this way a little bit, but I'm not the one buying it. You might be, so my opinion doesn't matter as much as yours. Now, we've got a lot to cover, so I'm just going to kind of start working my way around this thing over here. Obviously, like almost anything motorized, we're completely carpetless, but it's nice that they continue that trend into the slide under the dining area. You'll also find tons of seat belts. Like, there's 2 seat belts on that bench, but that's kind of a requirement. What they're not required to do is put 2 seat belts over here on this dinette. And that's a really interesting conversation, because the moment you put a seatbelt in something with a motor and put it on a federally regulated road, there's some serious guidelines that have to go into that. Not only does Jayco add seatbelts, they don't have to maximize your safe seating capacity in transit, but they also pull test those seatbelts to 10% more than the government requires, so that, you know, your family will stay safe. You will see, not only do we have this huge window over here, which is awesome for being able to kind of look around, you know, like if you got the family, the kids in here, something like that when you're traveling, it's cool to be able to see the sights. But across from that, on the other side, whether it's in that overhead cab area, that huge window in the entry door, which I think this might be the largest window in the, door within this class of RV, or that big sister picture kind of panoramic view window right there. This thing has a lot of glass, and with that farmhouse decor, I think it's got a lot of class. I got to be very careful how I stress and say that to make sure that somebody doesn't hear that wrong, and, you know, I lose my job. The dinette and the sofa, of course, can both fold down into extra sleeping areas. But speaking of sleeping, that is one of the other things that Jayco does very, very well here in their motorized RVs. And what I mean by that is not just that, like, the sofa, the dinette can fold down, that you have an overhead bed here. It's the touches, like the ladder to get the kids to that upper bed, and the fact that they have a best-in-class weight rating up here. These overhead cab beds in every single Jayco motorhome, whether it's a basic Greyhawk SE all the way up through their big gas and diesel models, has a 750-pound rating. That's more than twice of what you will see out there very commonly. Now, there are some brands that have like a nice 500-pound rating, and that's great. But that is one of the areas that Jayco, people will say, well, Jaycos are overbuilt. I've heard that before. Not in this case, because here's the other thing. Part of the reason that has such a heavy weight rating is because there's so much structure behind the walls, and that is helping prevent everything from twisting and buckling. And when it twists and buckles, you start doing the leaky water shuffle, and that's a dance that nobody wants to do. Now, our entertainment system here, the TV can swing out. It faces right toward the sofa. You've got yourself a handy little Sony Blu-ray player below that, and obviously it'll just lock against the wall when you're not using it. I didn't close it so that you could see the bed, but obviously you see there's a privacy curtain for that overhead cab area there. Now, in a Greyhawk, they will replace the Ford chassis seats with something a little more comfy for, you know, that longer drive and ride. I like that it is carpetless down here, though. You know, the whole coach, including the cab, is carpetless. They are, you know, you've got your combination GPS, navigation, entertainment system here. One of the really cool things about this, like I would normally just use the GPS off my phone. However, there's a really cool benefit to using this system right there built into that dashboard, is that you can program the dimensions of this coach into it so that if it says, oh, hey, there's a low bridge coming up, you're not going to want to go that direction. It's cool that this system has that kind of capacity. Now, there are apps for phones you can get that can do the same thing, but your standard phone GPS doesn't do that typically out of the box. Heated power side mirrors are also a handy little feature here in case you're traveling where it gets a little bit nippy in the morning or the evening, something like that. As we swing our way around here, it's one of the things that, like, you got to get into the RV and feel it in person. But if you do, grab the back of that dinette bench right there and just kind of pull on that thing. It's backed with steel. I mean, it's got a steel framework in it. It's fantastic what they do. You can see this is also a little bit of what I call the no-knee knocker dinette system right here. That's the dream dinette. It's easy up and down for sleeping, but one of the benefits for a guy like me with long legs, like I am always kicking the pedestals at a restaurant, or if I'm not doing that, I swear I'm always kicking my wife and daughter, inadvertently of course, when it comes time to, you know, when we're all sitting there around the table. It's just a constant pain in the neck that I always have to deal with. Now, you notice here, you've got kind of a kitchen dining slide, which is a classic thing, and it really never fell out of favor in motorized like it had in the towable RV industry, but it allows for that dual cross-breeze window scenario. Now, quick note, these are 7 foot tall inside, which something like that, that extra tall height is very common in the motorized industry. What's less common, though, is that every single AC vent can turn and close individually. And you might also notice, count them up, there's double AC runs in here. It's not just a single shunt off of each of the air, or each side of the air conditioner. This thing gets awesome, awesome airflow. Over here in the kitchen area, it becomes a little more obvious that you've got that sealed edge press membrane countertop stuff going on all over the place. You'll find that in the bathroom, and also you might notice it's over here in the dinette as well. And as dumb as it sounds, little things on this dining table, like the little cup holders, the power outlets that are down here, man, that stuff is so handy. There's household and USB plugs down there, by the way. Speaking of which, you see that little silver button popping up. This has one of those handy little pop-up power tower jobs for our kitchen area right there that makes, you know, easier reach to all kinds of appliances. And I'd like to take a look at that kitchen in a little more detail. You're not just relying on the pop-up power tower. Notice that you have some household outlets, which could also, frankly, be used from the dinette as well. Now, you got that countertop extension, and below that high-rise faucet, you have a beautiful stainless sink. You'll see that repeated in the bathroom as well. The bamboo cutting board kind of sink cover and the rollaway dish drying rack are very handy features. And as we look around here, you see this also has a very large, like, residential-sized microwave. And to help you understand how big it is, I threw one of the sink covers in here, because that's way bigger than a dinner plate typically. So you know it's actually like dinner plate friendly. There's also a really nice touch they put in here. Notice how they wrap that backsplash all the way around. That's nice. That side splash is nice. That's something more RVs, whether it's towable or motorized, need to start doing. They need to get on that bandwagon right there. And in case you were curious, yes, there is a full drawer under the oven as well. Now, as we look at the other side of the kitchen over here on the camp side of the RV, which is, again, just nice that the kitchen doesn't block everything, that you still have that big picture window overlooking it. You see we've got some more overhead cabinet storage. The struts are nice to hold that open. The command center's way up where the kiddos ain't gonna mess with the thing. But right here, the refrigerator and the relationship it has with the pantry, I really need and value your input. I always appreciate when folks leave, you know, like sometimes I'll ask and sometimes people volunteer information, and I try to do my best to listen, and I try to feed that back to manufacturers and apply it here at our dealership. But I talked myself into and out of the next thing 100 times. So what we're looking at here is an 8 cubic foot fridge with a pantry beside it. Normally, and my knee jerk was sacrifice the pantry and get a larger optional 12 cubic foot fridge freezer, because, you know, cold storage is one of those things that's a really precious resource. But this RV has a focus on the living room, and also this is shorter than something like its sister, the 29MV. This is a more length conscious coach, which is really nice. I believe it's actually under 30 feet. So they couldn't include a 4-door fridge and a pantry. You had to choose one or the other. And without that pantry, I was worried that the kitchen was going to be really lacking in storage space. But I could be overthinking it. You know, I talked myself into and out of it, so if you could do me a favor, please, what do you like what you see here? Or would you prefer no pantry and the bigger fridge, understanding that, you know, you have to get really crafty and creative with your kitchen storage after that? And maybe you can. I don't know. Everybody camps differently. That's the other thing. So back here, one of the other calling cards to this is that it is shorter as far as 2-slide motorhomes go, but with that big, beautiful king bed. When you get to that destination, especially this huge double sliding pocket privacy door, there's 2 doors that actually work together to close this off. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And then they just really thought of everything. Like these super CPAP friendly side stands, the big breeze windows, the overhead cabinet storage space. Now notice that our decor has shifted, very similar to something like a Jayco Eagle 5th wheeler trailer. When we get into the bedroom area, you start to change over to what in Eagles they call American tradition wood tones, but it's just part of the farmhouse decor. It changes when we get back here. And what's great, I really want to take a second to open this up. It has some pretty tremendous personal storage space. The 29MV sister to this has a huge closet and dresser array directly across from the bed. And this one doesn't have that opportunity because of the shorter length. But I think they did a good job of really still continuing to provide a lot of storage. The left side there you can see has shelves, but they're removable, which is why there's a hanging rod above. Now, across from the bed and angled downward ever so slightly so you're not going to wreck your neck at night is a handy little HD TV. And back here in the bedroom, you can see that you've got a fantastic fan with a power vent cover and wall control switch. So you don't have to be the Jolly Green Giant to reach up there. And those things are just tremendous for giving us a fantastic airflow. But that's not all of your personal closet and or dresser space that this floor plan offers. You see that you've got yet another big closet and dresser space over here. So kind of circling back to the fridge and pantry thing. Are you willing to do a little bit of like a closet pantry combo or shift or dance? Or do you like having a dedicated kitchen pantry and dedicated personal storage and closet space back here? I don't really think there's a wrong answer. I think it's just the answer that works best for most folks. And who knows, we may end up bringing this RV in stock in several different fashions and equipment packages. This is just the one that we happen to be looking at today. This is not to say that this is how every single Greyhawk 27U is going to look like here at Haylett RV. The tall ceilings are awesome in the shower. I love that. But that height adjustable shower head is something my wife and I, every time I get in the shower head's cranked way down so that it hits her head and I have to crank it way up so it's washing something other than just my toes. Sealed edge press beam, oh geez, oh Pete's. Come on, caffeine, kick in here, baby. Sealed edge pressed membrane countertop here in the bathroom with a stainless sink, like I mentioned, repeated from the, kitchen area. And that breeze window, and notice you've got the nice roll down kind of blackout privacy shade here, so you can get that light, you can get that airflow if you want it. or obviously you can get the privacy when you need it, unless you're camping at a clothing optional resort, and then, hey, you know, good on you, mate. You're a little more confident in yourself than I am. Back outside with that awning open, we're just gonna pretend it's a beautiful sunny day instead of a kind of foggy London day. But you can see Haylett RV hanging out there over in the background with over about 550 different RVs to choose from, so I suppose the view could be worse, but I might be biased. Anyway, you kind of see that the light off the awning arm that shines inward, reflecting off the window. One of the cool things that they do here is with the light in the awning tube, you can use the power open close button to really kind of point the lights on your campsite where you want them. The other thing is that's keeping the lights from directly shining onto the neighbor's site, which is just the best way to cheese off the neighbors. Lights at night is actually the #1 complaint at campgrounds, with sounds being too loud being #2. Now, a couple neat things here. They have ABS molded compartments, meaning if you had to, you could like really get aggressive on cleaning those things out. And I like that they've added the little kind of drawbridge latch there, and you see that handy gas grill quick connect right in the middle of the screen right now. So if you want to do some outdoor grilling, you definitely have that capacity there. As we take a look over here, you see that there's just, you know, more generic outside storage. I like that there's a light in here, but this compartment also holds our outside TV hookups, and you can see that box on the upper right side there. That is where, if you choose to utilize the roof mount solar prep, that's where you'd mount the controller, basically. As mentioned previously, best-in-class warranty with that 2+3 year coverage, not to mention everything else that's part of the Ford chassis, drivetrain, transmission, all that good stuff. So these are wide body, which motorhomes typically are, to give you maximum living space when you get there. But what's nice is that they add a lot of things in that J-Ride package to help that wide body RV stay stable on the road, as well as be quieter on the road and your destination. And that's really Jayco's goal, to give you the best handling, quietest riding Class C on the market, period. It's like 5 or 6 components that all gets into it. We can provide you some visual aids. Hi, Goose. How you doing? I got a goose honking at me over here, but sorry. It's early and the caffeine hasn't kicked in yet, so obviously it's almost like I've got RV ADD right now. But the point is, going back to the ride and handling package, they do things like upgrade the shocks, upgrade the factory Ford chassis stabilization bars, add some rubber isolation jounce bouncers above the rear axle so that when that tire's jiggling down the road, that jiggle doesn't get translated in, so your cabinetry's not vibrating, your stovetop, your sink covers aren't going the whole time, which gets very old very quickly. Even with the little bit I've done it, you're probably tired of it. Another nice thing they do here is they sleeve that overhead cab cap all the way over the sidewall. They move those seams where there's basically no stress instead of directly where there's tons of stress. And kind of like we already talked about that overbuilt overhead cab area, the idea is to keep that structure intact so that over time it doesn't start to sag downwards, because if it does, something's going to give, something's going to leak. You're not going to have that here. They don't want any of that, even long term. You know, this is built to withstand more than just its warranty phase is the goal. Slide awnings, standard on here, just to help reduce that care, maintenance, and upkeep. They are not rated to withstand nuclear strikes should we ever cross paths with Russia. Hopefully that never comes to pass. You can also see our 4,000 generator down here, giving us full capacity to use the RV to its greatest extent, whether we're on grid, off grid, or even just in a parking lot like we are currently. Now, under the master bed slide over here, there is a nice chunk of outdoor storage space. And I just like that they opened up every little nook and cranny they possibly could. They just didn't waste anything. These are all nice slam latches. That's another thing. You can't really, it doesn't translate to video very well, but Jayco has improved the hardware on their baggage doors the last 2 seasons both. And these things, they actually latch very nicely now. You don't have to just Jean-Claude Van slam these things shut. The water dock station here is nice, and once again, it's great that they have, even though this is not a drawbridge style vertical door like that, they still put the hardware on it, and here's why I like it. What if you didn't realize that your partner, or you forgot, this door was left open and it was leaning against the slide? If you closed the slide, that slide flange would grab this and something's going to break. No matter what the result, you're going to be very sad when it happens. And it's smart that they do little things like that, the attention to detail, especially considering at the time of this filming, this is a brand new model. They have not had like 27 production runs of these to iron out the bugs. They just built it right from the start. And that's a good thing. That gives me a lot of confidence. Oh, I can't believe I didn't talk about this here. Oh my God. Here's another best-in-class feature of the Jayco Greyhawk. How about a 7,500 pound tow capacity? Now, there's going to be some confusing misinformation out there. A common Class C has a 5,000 pound tow rating. Jayco works with their suppliers to basically bulk up the hitch area to actually achieve a 7,500 pound tow capacity. If you look at most Class Cs, it will say 7,500 pound towing hitch. But that doesn't mean you have a 7,500 pound capacity, because the way that it all brackets and bolts together cannot always handle the full load that the hitch itself is capable of handling. But on a Jayco, that's not true. They bulk it up to make it, you get maximum capacity out of it, basically. And a couple things up here on the roof before we let you go. Thank you for tuning in today, by the way. The roof, it's not on fire, but it's a diesel pusher roof. It is a fiberglass skinned, crowned, laminated roof structure, just like you'd find on a diesel pusher here in a Class C. It's awesome. It is super stable, sturdy up here. Very little care, maintenance, and upkeep required on it. Now, you obviously have seals around all your fixtures. You still need to get up here and take care of things. But between the slide awnings and the fiberglass roof, there's very little you really need to do here in terms of seasonal stuff. You know, you don't got to worry about it that much. The other thing here is this, unlike a rubberized roof, does not promote the growth of black algae, which is actually where most black streaks come from. It's not just dirt and debris. There's an actual algae that will tend to grow on rubber surfaces. And you can see up here, we are roof solar prepped, and there's plenty of room. If you want to add some panels, you very, very easily could. So once again, thank you for joining us here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan today. That's our facility over there in the distance. I just had to get the motorhome off the grounds to have some room to get around it here. Doesn't matter where you live. You know, this thing's on wheels. It can get from here to there. So whether you need hitching pieces, parts, trades, finance, you know, a motor home and a vehicle and tow bar package deal and RV delivery and anything between, we do it all. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy motorhome camping, everyone.
Well, it looks like them Haylett boys are at it again.